Hi guys, the Flying Chef here, en route to Queensland's beautiful Sunshine Coast for the weekend. Recently I was on a flight from Los Angeles back home and met a guy sitting next to me, super nice guy named Mark. As it turned out, he's the business partner of Trevor Mendelow. For those of you who don't know who Trevor is, he's one of the key guys behind the Netflix smash documentary Chasing Coral. He's also a commercial diver, marine scientist, he's the founder of Teens for Oceans, and a university professor, just to name a few of his accomplishments. So if you haven't seen the Netflix documentary Chasing Coral, I strongly recommend it because it's a great insight into what's happening below the ocean and how it's affecting us up here on the land. Anyway guys, enjoy the video. I'm off to grab some lunch. Later.
One of the most wonderful things about diving is the contrast between being on the surface and then that moment where you roll off the boat or you enter the water and suddenly everything changes. Suddenly you can see this world. It's incredible and it feels as though time is moving really slowly. Something about that causes you to slow down and look around. It's such a foreign place and it's unpredictable. You don't know what you're going to see and experience. I'm a scientist by training. I got into education when I was about 22 years old, and I taught community college, I taught at the university at CU Boulder. Most education systems are designed to deliver content, and the tricky thing about teaching science is that that's not what science is. Science isn't just a body of knowledge. Science is a process. And so teaching content delivery in science became very difficult for me to continue to do as I grew older. And I kind of morphed that into working with students experientially outside the classroom and getting into this area of study that I was most interested in, which is being able to monitor environments remotely without any human disturbance. We started to realize when we first deployed this underwater camera that we built under this bridge in Florida that this is an amazing tool for science, but also an amazing opportunity for people to experience something that they wouldn't normally experience. Pictures and stories are wonderful, but video is something that people look at and they tend to just believe based on what they see. And so I started to think about, well, live video is even more authentic because there's no editing. It only tells the truth. We are camera integrators, and our job is to build the infrastructure and the self-cleaning housing to be able to make that camera perform at its best. Putting this equipment underwater is very challenging. The environment is corrosive, meaning things rust and things break down. Stuff gets coated in organisms like bacteria and algae and other animals. And if you think about it, the camera is kind of like taking a computer and putting it underwater and expecting it to remain charged forever and to be able to communicate in an efficient and reliable manner. So that's really a hard thing to do. And so we have to figure out ways to make sure that the camera receives power and has this permanent internet connection. I'd like to be able to see our team continue to do projects that open people's eyes and make the world available to people in a way that they normally would never have an opportunity to see. When I was about 12, somebody bought for my birthday a book called The Ocean World by Jacques Cousteau. And it was the first book that I had really seen of the ocean. And I was fascinated by this guy's life. Like, he would traveled and had all these experiences and then wrote down all these stories about these different experiences he had had. And it seemed unimaginable to me that any one person could have had those experiences. There were pictures of whales from Antarctica to tiny little symbiotic relationships that were happening in Fiji, and it just seemed like the possibilities were endless for discovery. And I think I read through that book and I wanted to be that guy. He was the iconic spokesperson for the ocean, and he obviously achieved his goal, because at least this one little Scottish kid called Trevor was, inspired by that work. And I still have that book. It sits on my shelf at home, and I feel like I've been able to do more than I ever thought I'd be able to do. It's a very special thing to have an experience that you never actually thought you would have. I couldn't be luckier.